I wanted to spoof him. I don't know if anybody follows what Chris does. He does these, 4:30 kind of early morning. He talks to your social audience, right?
Yeah.
So I've been watching them, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a spoof video on that, right? So I called him up, and I was believe it or not, I was very nervous when I called him. And I said, Chris, you know, we've gone for breakfast, we chat this once in a while or whatever. But I said, I got to ask you a favor. I do these spoof videos. I told him, without even me finishing the sentence, the guy says, I'm there.
I'm in.
I'm there. And I'll tell you something, it was very uncomfortable for me to be in like a muscle shirt and boxers beside this guy in a muscle shirt and boxers. Actually, when I saw him take off his shirt, I thought, wow. I was very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable.
When you took off your pants,
yeah, that
I
was,
said,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It was awesome. You are one awesome guy. Okay.
I just feel like I'm a child in like a
Yeah,
scene or like
that's what we did this. We did this to make you feel uncomfortable.
really awkward.
Okay, so as of June 2019, you ranked 8th in Canada for KW and GCI. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You just arrived in Stony Creek, 5 years ago?
5 years ago, on September 17th, I moved back to Canada.
Yeah. And when did you get licensed here?
November of that year, so 2014, so it's almost been 5 years.
So would you call yourself an overnight success? Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Okay, then tell me why.
All right. Well, I was down in Houston for. I went down to Houston right before the recession. Got into commercial real estate down there, and that was a struggle just to get down there. To begin with, I went down there and I sold my car. I had $700, and that I had to get down there with $400 tickets, but $300 to my name, and basically started from scratch down there. We didn't know anybody, and it was all going well. We decided to start a brokerage, and that was going well because before the recession, money was flying around like crazy in the commercial world. And then the recession hit.
That's pre-08 you're talking, right?
Yes, and then the recession hit, and it was, I tell our team all the time, it was the worst and best experience of my life. Because it was, I have it written down in a journal, I worked for 214 days straight, and that's not like taking afternoons off. I mean, it's 14 hours at least a day. Slept in my office because my lights got turned off in my house, and in Houston it's really hot and humid, so got our electricity turned off, so had to sleep under my desk. There.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't like funny, like, you know, everybody watched Seinfeld before when George is under his desk.
It's not that funny.
It wasn't funny at all. I had to shower at the gym that I was sneaking into, and during that time I made $0.
Oh, wow.
That entire time. So all that stuff that I learned from there, kind of just going
Hard
through.
knocks, right?
Yeah, and it was, at the time I didn't have a wife or kids, but I ate tuna and eggs and beans. That was it for like about a year straight.
Wow.
But that was the best experience of my life.
So you came here and then you hit the ground running. Like your name is out there. It's incredible. So what did you do? What was the first thing you decided to do when you got here?
Talk to people.
Okay.
I know it's a really strange
Yeah, it's very
concept.
unusual, yeah.
Well, what I did was I did something, I wouldn't say illegal, but when I came back,
This is a real honest.
I threatened people for listings. What I did was I sent a letter out to my neighbors, because like one thing I really loved about Houston, Texas is the Southern hospitality. Everybody knew each other. If somebody's in the area, they'd pop by, they'd knock on your door. We wouldn't even leave our doors locked. People just walk in. I'd come home from work, people would be in my backyard.
Well, it's amazing because I had an experience in a U.S. suburb, and they would bring you everybody brings you some baked good when you move in. It's something incredible.
And in our street there, we let the dogs out front, and my dog would go over to the neighbor's house and knock on their door kind of thing. Look in, they'd let their dog out. And there used to be this. In the court we have, there was 10 dogs just running around. Everyone kind of knew each other. So I had to say, you know what, I'm moving back to Stony Creek. I don't know anybody here. I'd been gone for 10 years. And I basically just wrote a letter and went and just door knocked everybody.
Really?
Before I had my license, I'm Chris Knighton. I'm going to become a realtor. I don't have my license just yet, but I have my cards already done up. So.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's legal.
That's what I was going to say.
Is anybody here from the registrar?
Yeah, well, they love me anyway.
So you walk your neighborhood a lot, or you did
We did, yeah. I think just getting in front of people was the way that I found that, because I had nobody in my database. It was all my friends, and the ones that were doing something were usually kind of not back in Stony Creek. And I didn't know very many people. And so what I did was literally just get out there and meet people, put them in my database, and then how can I add value to them? The very first listing I got was the first day I got my license from a friend. Talking about being nervous. I hadn't talked to this guy in a while, played junior hockey with him and everything. And I just called him up and said, I know you live around the corner. What are you doing? Love to come by for a beer. And went over there, and he's like, yeah, we're thinking about selling our house. It's actually perfect timing for you. But I felt really nervous because I hadn't talked to these people in a long time, so I got over that real quick.
Oh, cool.
And then just started talking to people and how to add value to them.
Great. So you just, I saw on Facebook, right, you hit a milestone of 100 plus listings, 101 listings?
105 listings. Right?
105 right now, so that's cool. You really keep an eye on your numbers, right?
Yes.
So tell me something, Chris. There's this thing that, Chris Knighton sells off market. Yes. Right, a little bit, right? So, and you're very cooperative with other agents, but you do sell a lot off market, right?
I wouldn't say a lot, but we do some stuff exclusive. When I came back here, no one was doing exclusives. Actually, no one was really using social media, but because kind of down south, there was a little bit, they were ahead of the times, I think. I kind of used that and came back here, and people were getting so pissed off. Sorry, they were getting so upset. That I was getting RICO complaints and to our board and everything, which we were doing nothing wrong. We were doing it perfectly legally, and it was an exclusive listing that was allowing us to market our properties, going above and beyond just putting it on MLS, was to, while they're in the exclusive period, getting everything done. I could get out there and get to other agents and other people. And
so how do you sell to the sellers? How do you sell that whole concept that not going on the MLS where there's 3,300 agents and blah, blah, blah?
No, so we reach way more people through social media, which we can track, we can communicate to more, and actually we can see our numbers, where they're coming through, and we can actually talk to those people, so we're reaching consumers in a larger area. And when we're doing it, we wouldn't just target certain areas, because I've sold homes and say there's one in Niagara-on-the-Lake that we sold. It was from a guy in Peterborough because his daughter saw it in Toronto, told him about it, that he wouldn't have seen. He would have missed an opportunity for himself. He was represented by somebody up there. I said, yes, absolutely, we fully cooperate with you. And that allows us to reach more people. And if you are doing what's best for the clients, it's actually not in our best interest. So we have a decision-making triangle, or integrity triangle, or team, and it starts off with, it's always client best interest first. Then it does it fit within our culture and our ethics, and then lastly, is it what's best for us? And if you look on the surface of it, that exclusive listing, if I sell that off market, we don't get to do the fun stuff. We love open house, we love marketing ourselves, because that's how we kind of reach the greater audience. But if we don't get a chance to do that, we don't get to leverage that listing like we would if it was on the MLS.
Yeah, you're right.
So not as good for us on the surface, but people say, like, why would you do that? How do you sell it to the clients? It's what's best for the clients all the time. And if it's not, then we don't do it. We give them the decision.
Okay, cool. Let's talk lead generation. What's your number one source of lead gen?
Sphere and influence, referrals, and open houses. Sorry, Rob. No, our team, they're up there somewhere where they do an incredible job with open houses, and the fact that we get to get belly to belly with people, that's the best way I like to do it. And if it's door knocking or it's just meeting people, just having those conversations, asking the right questions, asking how we can help those people out. That would probably be the number one in terms of ROI, in terms of time and money spent on it.
Somebody mentioned that when you get somebody lives on a street said you get a listing and your whole team comes and knocks on the door at some point. Like
every single listing that we get, we door knock. Like, we're not doing it today because it's Thursday, so tomorrow we'll door knock. I'll be out there with the team as well. We don't have a big team.
How many people?
6 producing agents. Makes sense?
Give me the job descriptions or titles of everybody else.
We have 2 amazing listing specialists, and we have 4 buyer specialists, myself, and then we have my director of operations, Valerie, who's out there. She just recently became the only Canadian MAPS coach in all of Canada.
Oh, really?
Director of operations, so congratulations.
Very good. That's awesome.
We have a transaction coordinator, we have a marketing director, and we have a listing manager. And they all work like seamlessly together. I think the group of people that we have is absolutely incredible.
Cool. You do a lot of things, you do a lot of events. Your Canada Day thing is epic, right? It's epic.
Yeah.
Is there something that, it started small, just give us an idea of that budget. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, for sure. The first year, I think it was 17 or 18,000 bucks, at which we bore the brunt of that cost. We had a few sponsors. Then the next year, it was probably around the same. And we got a few more sponsors, and then this year, we went a little bit crazy. I think we had 3,500 people there, and we had a live band. Actually, the sound guy here, he did the sound there.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was incredible. It's one of those things to give back to the community, and even people that don't use us or in our community. The fact, like, whenever we're talking, we're like, man, I love that, because nobody was doing anything for Canada Day, and not a lot of people can get away. It's expensive to go to a cottage or whatever for Canada Day. So they were like, this is incredible. Our entire family comes. Like, people come from out of town to have a party at their place. They come, do the festivities, watch the band.
So would that be one of those sacred cows, no matter how bad the industry got, you would not get rid of it? Or is there something else that?
No, absolutely. I will continue to do that just because I like throwing a big party. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
It's BYOB, so everybody can come.
So if I got into your office for like an hour, what would I be really surprised about in your office?
What would you be surprised about? God, I don't know.
Okay, how was this?
Okay.
What would I steal? What would I steal?
What would you steal?
What would I steal? Okay, I'll give you an example.
All of our support staff.
Oh yeah, that's it. And you're all the people, right? There's nothing. Yeah.
They're all there here today, and they'll do an incredible job to keep.
So where are they so we can see? Can you guys put your hands up?
There it is.
Awesome. Good. Yeah, great. So I know you guys would need some people, right? Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about take 3 words to describe your brand.
Not 3, but building trust with our clients so that our clients can build better lives.
Okay, so how do you articulate that, and how do you demonstrate that every day?
Well, again, with that integrity triangle that we have, client first, the fit within our culture, and then ourselves last. And it was, everybody read the book, Start With Why, or Finding Your Why. We did that as a group about 2 years ago now. And we literally wrote everything that was important to us. We had a kind of a homework assignment. Everybody wrote down what was important, what they want to see. And it all really came down to, as long as we're living in integrity and we're building trust with not only clients, with other realtors, with the general public, anybody, if we're building trust with those people, we get to help them live better lives.
What's something you do for your client, either buyers or sellers, that has a huge impact on them? It's not a lot of money. Forget it. Like, I know you're talking about the candidate thing, but what's something that you do one-on-one that really has impact?
I would say just constant communication and actually telling them, like, after all of our listings, whatever deals we do, we'll do about, like, not Rob's numbers, we do 220 transactions this year. My goal is to talk to every single person when they firm up, when they sell, or when we list. So I'll call them all. It's in my schedule. I call them and say thank you, and I say welcome to the family. Thank you so much for trusting in us, because it's the largest decision that you pretty much had to make at this point of your life. And I just appreciate the fact that we get to work with you, and that you
When do
trust
you make
us.
that call? What time?
Usually in the morning.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm usually calling before 12.
Okay. So what do you do on a regular basis to motivate your team?
We have Monday morning meeting, kind of as Rob was saying. We have, but everyone heard of 4DX, 4 Disciplines of Execution, great book. It's called a WIG session, a wildly important goal session, where we actually track what our goals are for the quarter, and then we track appointments to get there, and we kind of just sit down and kind of motivate each other through that.
That's cool. That's cool. What's the most common objection at the kitchen table for you guys?
It's the same thing as
commission thing?
Yeah, absolutely commission. And basically, why are you worth that?
And how do you tell them?
Go through our process and the value, and show them we have stats to say, like, why compared to the average agent, like through IMS stats and everything, you can actually see what your average is compared to the rest. And if you kind of articulate that and the value that you have, and I love the fact that I watched one of your videos where you said, what's your commission? 0,
yeah.
Until I do my job correctly for you. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Very good. Well, thanks. A little shout out there.
There you go.
So, what's some practical advice you give for people starting out a team?
Starting a team. I would say.
What did you do wrong, you think?
What did you do
anything wrong?
Hired wrong people.
Okay.
My big thing, I actually just gave a talk at a charity event the other day, and I talked about how I was very selfish and I wanted to just want to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. Did a lot of stuff for yourself personally, and then I tried to I thought, that's not going to make me happy. Maybe if I just pour into more people, and my happiness was based on their success, and why I kind of changed that around instead of saying, I can't base my happiness or my success on just other people, because if they don't live up to their potential, that's on them, as long as I'm the best version of myself. So I've always, from then, my mission's really been to be the best version that I can be, so that I can give the most to them. And if I'm doing that every single day, and I'm giving as much as I can to them, that's really kind of, if that answers your question.
So what groups are you at this? Yeah, in a roundabout way. So who do you really admire? Like what, a team or like a local?
I find that me and Matt were talking about yesterday. I just actually met him yesterday. I think we have a very similar mindset around, like, every person you meet can be somebody that you learn from. And I love talking to people, getting their experiences, because like, how many people are in here? I'd say a few hundred people. Every single person has hundreds of thousands of experience throughout their life that they can add value to me. So
yeah, you do these breakfasts, right? Like you invite people. I've been to one of them.
All the time. I got to meet Drew Wolcott for the first time the other day, and he was gracious enough to invite me over to his place. I'm like, man, I just want to meet you and get to know you a little bit more. Not even so much the business side, but what's important to you, and kind of see what you're doing, because at the end of the day, it's kind of be, do, have, right? And everybody wants to have something, but until you become that person that's going to be able to do these things, you're not going to. So I can admire everybody in here that even comes up with these things, because we're all kind of in it together.
Yeah, and we're investing in our careers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, rapid fire. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, overrated, underrated, right?
Yes.
Okay, print ads.
Overrated.
Just listed, just sold.
Overrated.
Open houses.
Underrated.
Closing gifts.
Underrated.
Feature sheets.
Underrated.
Client appreciation events.
Underrated.
Why don't people do them? What do you think it is?
Because it takes a lot of time and effort. We start planning. Megan just booked the permit for the park for next Canada Day yesterday.
Yeah, it takes a lot of guts to do it, right?
Yeah, it's a big investment.
Yeah. Client education seminars, do you do that?
We haven't done it at a high level.
Okay.
Underrated.
Christmas cards or something at Christmas, like
Underrated. I love talking to people during a time when they're going to be thinking of you, and if you can just be in front of them during a time when they're going to be spending time with family and everything, you get to associate with them.
So how do you do that? Do you do something special at Christmas?
We send out Christmas cards to all of our past clients. I try to call every single person that I've done business with. I mean, it's a big undertaking. However, those special occasions really, I think you solidify in their minds that you're basically family to them.
That's cool. Billboards?
Overrated.
Oh.
Just a different.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I get it. Newsletters.
He's pretty.
Newsletters.
Newsletters overrated.
Overrated. Social media ads.
Underrated.
And I don't know why people aren't doing that more, but anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
Pictures of happy clients beside your sign.
I think underrated because that for those clients, that is a sense of pride for them, and they get to really enjoy the process, and they get to brag about not only themselves, but they get to brag about the amazing realtor they have.
That's cool. Have you ever thought of doing a video on it? Like a little clip video? Do a little thing of the house and you and...
That's a great idea.
Okay, good. Okay, staging?
Underrated or depends. Underrated.
Virtual tours, property videos?
Again, maybe different. I think virtual tours, underrated, and the reason for that, and videos overrated. Reason being is because in a picture, you're capturing a perfect moment in time, and you give people that experience, client experience of walking through with her in their underwear in their bed, they get to actually engage with it. Where property videos, I think the average watch time is like 6 seconds. And I love some of those, actually Justin showed me one of those cool lifestyle videos. It's engaging, however, if you can't control the experience, it's a little bit tougher for them to engage.
Okay, so how about waking up at 4 a.m., standing in front of your computer in your underwear, talking to your social audience?
Yes.
Overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
Okay. You get a lot of comments on that, right?
It's good. Actually, somebody challenged me to do it for 30 days. It was 2 years ago, 30 days in a row. Since my kids are a little older, I'm waking up at like 5 o'clock now. Like this morning was 4:30, but it was really life-changing for me because you have no idea who's out there. If you put yourself out there, somebody's watching at all times. Whether it's your kids, your wife, the people you work with, or somebody out there. And I had a person reach out to me. I never spoke to them before. I had no idea who they were. And they said, "Thank you. You saved my life. I was about to take my own life." So I kind of started crying, but it was probably one of the biggest.
I was trying to make you cry. I was going to bring up your kids.
I'm a crier.
I was going to bring up your kids and wife.
No, don't do that.
You start bawling.
Crying for sure.
Well, let's give Chris a big hand. Thank you.